Sam Darnold in this game, 22 for 28, incredibly efficient. 347 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 big-time throws, no turnover-worthy plays. But something that I loved about Sam Darnold, you see some of those under-pressure numbers there. 88.4 passing grade. This is under pressure. 5 for 8, 173 passing yards, 3 big-time throws, 3 touchdowns. Again, under pressure, people. That's the goal of what we're doing here. We're trying to get the quarterbacks under pressure because they're supposed to be bad. Sam Darnold is not under pressure. He has the second highest passing grade under pressure so far this season. Dalton Wasserman did a great job pointing this out when we were doing the review show on Monday. He was talking about how, you remember the phrase, oh, Sam Darnold, he's seeing ghosts, right? Well, he's not seeing ghosts anymore. That's not a part of who he is. He understands where the pressure is coming from. He's handling things so well. It was just another fantastic day for Sam Darnold. You talk about the efficiency that this offense has with Darnold as quarterback. 4 for 4 in the red zone, 1 for 1 in goal-to-go situations, 67% on third down. What are we doing with Sam Darnold here, Seth? Because he's playing at the level where, I understand, you drafted J.J. McCarthy in the top 10 last year because you thought he was going to be your franchise quarterback. And let me be very clear. I love the plan that the Vikings set up last year. Hey, we're going to go get Sam Darnold. He's going to be a competent quarterback for us. We're going to say to Sam, hey, Sam, we're signing you. We're going to draft a rookie in the first round this upcoming draft. But we want to give you at least, now I don't know how much they said here, but at least the first 6 weeks that you will have to put your best foot forward. We will put you in the best position to succeed, and this will be an open audition for you for your next team, and we're going to make sure that you're going to have great audition tape out there for anybody. Well, J.J. McCarthy gets hurt before the season begins, and it's been Sam Darnold's show. He's been unbelievable. So much so that, Seth, I don't know how you let this player walk out of the door. He's been a top 10 quarterback in the NFL this season. J.J. McCarthy, I think he's a good prospect. I think it was the right pick. I love the thought process that the Minnesota Vikings had. But you are hoping that J.J. McCarthy becomes what Sam Darnold already is. So if you have the opportunity, if you love Sam Darnold and the wide receivers love Sam Darnold, and most importantly, you got the money to bring back Sam Darnold, how do you not do it at this point? What do you think about that situation? We can sort of get into the salary cap and where we're at because we're going to talk about other teams that might be interested in Sam Darnold. But to me, you watch quarterbacks all the time. I don't know how you let Sam Darnold and what he has done for the Minnesota Vikings just walk out of the door because, oh, that was the plan originally. You turned into a Pro Bowl type of a quarterback, but we'll see you play on another team because we think that J.J. McCarthy can be this good at some point. Probably not next year because it'll be his first year starting. What do you think about Sam Darnold?
So just in general, I've absolutely loved watching the Vikings offense and Sam Darnold play. I've always liked aesthetically watching Sam Darnold play. It's just like the results have been bad, very, very bad for a long time. But I've always liked watching him play. I would say it would be very interesting to me if a team said, for kind of the first time, hey, we're not going to pay this quarterback who just had a career year, who just had a great year, because we believe that the supporting stuff around him is what's carrying him. It's been tough for teams to do that. Jared Goff is the main example. They pay Jared Goff, and then they end up trading him when it collapses. That would be my one thing where I'm like, it would be just interesting to see how if a team would ever really think like that, because it's really tough. He's playing really well. They're throwing the ball all over the place. The team has this amazing record. They're going to be in the playoffs, like blah, 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 all that stuff. They have a wide receiver 1 who's uncoverable. They have a wide receiver 2 who's really good as well. They have a tight end who's really good. They have 2 tackles who are really, really good. Cam Robinson has come in to replace one of their really, really good tackles and has been above average. I think this offense, Kevin O'Connell and his kind of where he comes from, the tree, does a good job protecting offensive line and creating good offensive lines out of lesser pieces, let's say. So I think there was always a chance that Cam Robinson was going to come in and be okay, and he has been. So I just wonder if I don't think they should do it, and I would love to see Sam Darnold continue this kind of resurgence with this one team. And like you said, they have the money to do it. I just think like from a theoretical standpoint, from an exercise standpoint, like it would be interesting to see if a team decided, hey, we're actually really good regardless of the quarterback. And Sam Darnold's ceiling is like a B or whatever, but McCarthy's ceiling might be A plus. Like that's why we took him in the first round, right? We think he might be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like that's why you take quarterbacks in the draft. So maybe they're just like, hey, like if we put any quarterback in this system with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson, like we're good. So let's not pay Sam Darnold. Let's go out and get some corners, some other pieces in the on defense and see what we can do there.
It's interesting because you look at the effective cap space, the projected effective cap space, which on Over the Cap, what they do with effective cap space is they basically incorporate, okay, what would it take for you to get to a 53-man roster? What would it take for you to sign your rookie class with how many draft picks that you have right now? And the Vikings actually have the 5th most effective cap space in the NFL for next season. The teams that are ahead of them, the Patriots have over 100 million. It's insane. The Cardinals have 91 million. The Raiders then have 89. Then it's the Commanders with 79. And then it's the Vikings right after them. So the only team that has more effective cap space money to really spend that would be interested in Sam Darnold, that would go after Sam Darnold, is the Las Vegas Raiders. Is Sam Darnold going to the Raiders? No. Like, Sam Darnold is not going to Las Vegas Raiders. It's a terrible situation right now. They have way too many issues. I don't think the offensive line's as bad as other parts of the team, but like it's just not a good football team. So if they want to pay him crazy amounts of money, sure, I guess you'd entertain it, but I don't think Sam Darnold's going to the Raiders. So then you go a little bit further, okay? After that, Bears, no. Chargers, no. Lions, no. Bengals, no. Packers, no. Broncos, no. Rams, no. Titans at 46 effective cap space, could be interested there. I could definitely see that. Steelers could also see them interested. Giants could see them interested. They're right around 41 and 40 effective cap space. But for the way that Sam Darnold is playing, I think a lot of people looked at this maybe the first half of the season and said, hey, Sam Darnold's playing well enough to where, he can get the Baker Mayfield contract, which 3 years, $100 million. This was Baker Mayfield signed last offseason. You got to hike that up now. Sam Darnold's going to get more money than Baker Mayfield. So it's going to be a little bit more money than that anyways. So you're talking about something that's probably close to right around that $40 million a year range. So sure, you can get flexible with the cap, but I think that the Vikings are not only right in there, but could be a more favorable location to be able to give Sam Darnold the contract that he wants. Now, they've got a couple of players that they need to sign this free agency period. Cam Bynum is one of them. Aaron Jones is one of them. They got Byron Murphy Jr. as well, who's a free agent. So, you got to sign a lot of these guys. So, it'd probably have to be a little bit flexible of where the money's coming from for Sam. And I don't think the Vikings could just outright give Sam Darnold the most money, but they could absolutely be in the conversation. This is not something where the Vikings have sort of priced themselves out with how they built the rest of the team. And this team is ready to win now. Very clearly, he's got a lot of great success. Very clearly, he's working with an offensive-minded head coach that he's rolling with. He's got great wide receivers that aren't going anywhere, especially if you bring Aaron Jones back. You got your offense set, and you get Christian Darrisaw back next year. You don't have to re-sign Cam Robinson. So it's just hard for me to find a reality where Sam Darnold prefers another location. And I do agree with you that it would be fascinating to see how much the quarterback versus team and surrounding would go into it. But maybe the Steelers, if the Steelers are totally out on Russell Wilson. Titans, why would you sign with the Titans over the Vikings if all things are equal? Kind of the same thing with the Giants. I guess it depends maybe who's going to be the head coach of the Giants, if it's going to be Brian Daboll or somebody else. But I am getting to the point, because you got to think about this too. The Vikings are a damn good football team. The Vikings could make the conference championship game. The Vikings could make the Super Bowl. If that happens, if you get to the conference championship game or Super Bowl, I don't know if you can actually look at this situation and say to yourself, hey, we think that it's the surrounding cast and not you. I don't think you can. If the Vikings make it to the conference championship game of the Super Bowl, I don't know if you have a choice at that point. You do, but you know what I'm saying. You basically have to re-sign him, because think of the unreal pressure that is then on J.J. McCarthy's shoulders as a first-time starter next year because the roster is also set up to win right now, very clearly. So you don't really have this time for McCarthy to like sort of have his rookie year next year, and then you wait a little bit, and then some of your good free agents are going to be gone, and then maybe he takes that next leap as in his third year in the league. You hope that he's doing that, but then after that, like, okay, then a couple of other guys are going to have to leave, and then the rookie contract's going to be up. Maybe you can bring in guys to mitigate that because, again, we're talking about the value of a potential franchise quarterback on a rookie contract, but that's risky, man. Again, it goes back to the Family Guy meme. A boat could be a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. I said that on NFLSC, and I still kind of feel that way about the quarterback situation in Minnesota. So to me, the Vikings are still a destination spot for him, but then I look at Titans, Steelers, Giants. Those are the three teams that I really look at of where he could go that makes sense. You could throw the Jets in there, I suppose, which could be a transition to the last topic that we're going to talk about here. But even the Jets like don't have a ton of money to spend. And why would Sam Darnold go back to the place that he was drafted to and then gave up on him? Like I'm out on the Jets being an option, even though it would make sense because they could potentially need a quarterback. I think it's the Steelers, the Titans, and the Giants are the most likely spots outside of Minnesota. But I'm going to be honest with you, Seth. I would put all three of those teams below Minnesota at this point of likelihood of where he's going to be next year.
Yeah, I guess in the world of like the Vikings are going to part ways with him in that scenario. And again, like you said a key word there before, which is like, how can they not, like after they have all the success, how can they not do that? They're going to feel so much pressure. And this is the issue, right? Like this is where you get Goff and you get Hurts signing a big deal, and you get, in my opinion, it'll happen with Tua, and it might even happen with Purdy and like all that stuff. Like it might happen with Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. Like I don't know, but you get all this pressure. I mean, they haven't Stroud hasn't signed yet, but you get all this pressure to lock in your quarterback because we assume the quarterback is always going to be the first mover of team success. And that is generally true. But we have some great offensive minds in football right now that are just doing amazing stuff to put their quarterback and, like I said, their offensive line in great positions. And most of those teams also have a dominant wide receiver one. So I guess that's kind of where I am. Like I could see it going both ways. I probably, if I'm putting myself in the shoes of those decision makers in Minnesota, like I probably don't want to give up on Sam Darnold, but like, man, they had some good offensive outputs with some backup quarterbacks last year, Dobbs and Mullins. Like they came in, did okay. I'm not saying they did great. Sam Darnold was obviously a high pick and had the traits to be able to do this more than a Nick Mullins or even a Josh Dobbs. So that's kind of where I am. Like I think he's done enough to show that he's elevating it to a certain degree, but I'm not sold entirely. And looking from an outsider perspective, like I'm okay with them moving on and going to JJ. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to pay him a lot of money, like you said, but I'm kind of like okay with it. And I'm okay with it if Sam Darnold comes to the New Orleans Saints, because I think that's a really good fit. And I would love to see him as playing quarterback for my favorite team.
Hey, Sam Darnold's the 5th highest rated quarterback in terms of PFF passing grades so far this season. You know who's one spot ahead of him? You know who's one spot ahead of him.
I know.
You know who's one spot ahead. It's Derek Carr. You already got Derek Carr. What do you want?
There's no point in Derek Carr being a highly graded quarterback. I know he's played well. There's no point. Like, what does the future hold? Just be like, it's irrelevant.
Good quarterback play. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, it's irrelevant when it comes from certain quarterbacks, and that's
Like you gotta worry about your D line. You gotta worry about your D line down there instead of your quarterback. Quarterback's doing a lot better than the defensive line is. You gotta hit that one first. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below. So if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.